content shared in this YouTube video, as well as any resources linked below, is not intended to be interpreted or relied upon as financial advice. We are not lawyers, accountants, or financial advisors, nor do we claim to be. The information provided is not a replacement for personalized financial advice from a qualified professional who understands the specific details of your situation. While we strive to ensure the accuracy and value of the information shared on this channel and through associated resources, it should not be considered a recommendation to avoid consulting with a financial professional. Always seek guidance from a trusted expert to address your unique circumstances.
X was the spark, Pulse lit the flame. Built a new world, ain't playing their game. No more waiting, we took that dive. Turn it up, now Pulse alive. Gas fees, chains too slow. Built it better, now watch us go. Bridges open, bags unlocked. We took the risk, now we don't stop. B-die holding steady tight. Pushing one, yeah, the peg feels right. WBTC, locked in deep. Forked it all, now let's eat. Bitcoin, stack that weight. Mine and ASIC, yeah, no debate. Solid X, we hold that line. Will sees the stars alive. We took the risk, yeah, we held that light. Now Pulse chain shines too bright. Told them we make it, now they see. We built the chain, we set it free. We ride the wave, we touch the sky. Pulse is strong, we're amplified. Hicks is locked, Pulse X burns. Stack that ink, now watch it turn. We don't fall, we don't hide. Pump tires, let's take a ride. No more doubt, no more lies. Turn it up.
All right. Welcome in, everybody. We got DeaDY BeaR here and Mr. Note It All. Welcome, Mr. Note It All. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
We're gonna do some TA. First of all, what are you looking at like on the Bitcoin chart right now? Are you bullish or bearish, macro or long-term, short-term?
I think short-term a bit cautionary right now because we got some overbought stuff happening on smaller time frames.
I was thinking about the time of the year. Tax season is over. We were getting some hopeism that we were going to get some Trump checks. Like $5,000 worth. I was expecting those were going to go into the markets and start pumping everything, but we're still stalling, man.
Yeah, I mean, just be real about it, though. From your swing high to low, you did a golden mean ratio retracement. So what do you want from it? A pullback to like 88 Ks looks about right. It could go further down, but just conservatively, I think just back test that range you broke out of. If you're gonna go higher, which I think high time frame is suggesting higher. We could have a couple weeks here of drawdown. I'm not sharing my chart, but yeah, I think so. A couple weeks of drawdown is in the cards.
Yeah, I'm just drawing these lines and patterns on the chart, and for me, I don't think we're going to come all the way back down and do a retest of that level. I really think that we're going to probably come down to maybe the midline.
Yeah,
this area right over here. So that's going to be your 84K level because you got good support hanging around right here.
Yeah, I was just looking at wicks around the 88K. Plus, there's a big fib node there too. We could wick below it, depending on the sell pressure. But yeah, we're saying the same things.
Yeah, we got you're talking about this wick we got right here, right? So
Yep. I am talking about that area there. Yep. And we really don't want to see it really go too much below that either. Because then you kind of break back into that zone, and that wouldn't be good.
I was trying to entertain the idea of it actually being a bear market when I was looking at this other chart. And I was going over and over and over again, trying to figure out how I can get the bear market out of this. Like this would be wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. But this is not correct. It's not correct. You want to know why? Because if this is the top of wave 1,
Yeah.
we broke below. So that invalidated the structure.
Yeah.
So that would mean that this is wave 1. Well, this is going to be one complete set of waves. And then this is going to be wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. And now we can come down to no lower than this, which is wave 4.
So we got a 5-wave to complete.
Again.
So we got a major 5-wave to complete then.
Yeah, and this is where all the volume came in right over here, which is on wave 3. So you're seeing this real time to where people are thinking that this cycle is different and everything is over. But I mean, all we're seeing is a mini version right before we end up going up right here.
Yep.
And it's not because it's a 4-year cycle. It's because it's all lining up. Look at this. You got a hit. That's number 2. That's a miss. That's a 3. That means that this green line right here, you got nothing left on it. No resistance at all.
I would extend it. I would extend it out. You know what I think? And I've been watching. I've been looking a lot at this indicator here. The business cycles are actually really confluent with what Bitcoin ends up doing because it's all liquidity driven, right? It's nothing else but liquidity driven. I'll share my screen for this one because I use a specific indicator for this. So I'm sharing. So this is somebody was asking me about the altcoin market and when we're going to have an altcoin season. So if you really look, I mean, this indicator up here is literally the business cycle, and business cycles how they work. Tough to chart against, but you can kind of see every single time we get to the top of this trend line, it happens to be the top of the market. When we get to the bottom or close to the bottom, it's the bottom of the altcoin market. So right now, we're kind of skating along the bottom, which leads me to believe we haven't even really started an alt run yet. Like really, we haven't even seen it because this is nowhere near breaking out of this range yet. When the business cycles really start to pick up, okay, if they start to pick up, then we are going to see that flood of money that comes in from the market that we get. I mean, look how textbook this channel is, man.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome right there.
Beautiful. So and it lines up with this too. Like, look, so you have a peak here. This is the peak here. You have another peak here. Beautiful peak here, second peak. So what are you doing? You're just skating along the bottom of the channel. Okay, great. Can you come back down to the bottom of the range and test it? Yeah. I mean, it does. In like long term though, if you look at this looks like this is where you should be accumulating your altcoins, right? And yeah, it looks like you could do maybe another leg into this zone, maybe get another drawdown. I mean, I don't know how long this is going to go, but like eventually what you do is you go to the top of the channel, 1, 2, and you have all that room to get up there. So I think we got a major alt run ahead of us here within the next 6 months. That's what it looks like to me.
Well, you think Ethereum's going to get a rubber band effect where it should have actually gone up when it actually went down. So
they short squeezed the living piss out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is going to get a rubber band effect. Here, like let's look at. So we're looking at others. Okay. But like let's look at ETHUSD versus the business cycle chart. So it's the same kind of concept as the others chart. It actually almost looks very similar because others is mostly ETH, right? Okay, so you have like this deviation up here, but that was your top, and you have this range low down here, which is also confluent with your bottoms that were made. Like every time this low right here had to be COVID. Yeah, there it is. Boom, COVID low. Okay. So I mean, unless yeah.
What are you looking at right here? What is this? This is the RSI?
No, it's called the business cycle indicator.
Okay.
It includes all of these metrics: copper gold ratio, 10-year yield ratio, 10-year break-even inflation, all this stuff.
Oh, so that's like the money flow rate, the money flow indicator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just trying to create something like that. Nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, unless we get another dip on the money flow or on the business cycle, maybe we come back down and tag this. That would be nasty. We'd capitulate all the way back down to $1,000. That would be such a shit show, dude.
Do you know there's still a CME gap open at 9.8K
on Bitcoin?
on Bitcoin? Yeah,
we're not going to 9.8K, dude. That'd be that'd be absolutely effing insane if we did.
That would destroy it. Yeah,
that would destroy it. They're not going to do that.
Something would have to take the place of Bitcoin if that were going to happen.
Yeah, well, gold would be it, but yeah.
So if you compare this to 8 years ago when Trump got in office in 2017, the beginning of 17 to the end of 2017, are you looking like a mirror image of what happened then?
Look, 2017.
2017 is when Trump got in office.
January
2016. Yeah, November 2016, and then from 2017, that first year is when he got in office, and then after that is when we got hit with COVID.
So this is November of 17. We were at the top of a business cycle. Oh.
No, beginning of 17. From November 2016 is when he got elected. And then that ride up.
Okay. Yeah, there's not enough data on here, but you can see when we're riding up, we're already in the midst of the business cycle. Like it's already powering through. We're actually in a full reset on the business cycle. So this could be a major move for ETH, like major move for ETH. Okay. Like, and ETH has all this room too. Okay. It can run all the way to the top of this trend line. There's nothing here. It could just do this. I mean, it's not going to go to 40K, but like, I mean, who knows? It might take a couple of years to do that. I mean, this run might last into 2026. Really might. And you know why I say that? Because look at this.
That'd be a fifth wave extension, yeah.
Look at this. Look at this. This is the thing that I'm looking at more specifically. And nobody thinks that this is possible either. Oh, it only lasts 4 years and blah, 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 blah. Okay. In theory, yes. But we're still in a QT environment right now until the Fed decides tomorrow that we're not. Which, by the way, I think that's what's going to happen. This right here, this yellow indicator is Global Liquidity Index. Global Liquidity Index just broke out. Okay. Some major event could happen where they just decide to just start, I don't know, printing an ass load of money. Excuse my language. But yeah, dude, it could just, blast out of here. Why not? They can just print. And if they do that, then that makes a lot of sense for these markets to go a lot higher for longer. That's it. That's all this is. Just liquidity driven.
Yeah, I got
4 year cycle, 4 year cycle. But I think at this point in time, it's very possible that Bitcoin is no longer on that trajectory of 4 year cycle because this is just institutions, man. This is not retail buying Bitcoin. Nah.
I don't think the people can move the market anymore anyway. It's too big as far as that's concerned. But Ethereum, it can. So what are your thoughts of maybe Ethereum actually beating Bitcoin in market cap? You think that's possible? We can take it over? Maybe not this cycle.
Maybe long term.
Yeah.
But maybe not. And the reason why I say maybe not is the maybe yes is if BlackRock really tokenizes a bunch of real world assets and we get trillions of dollars locked on chain. That would be how. Okay. Bitcoin can't really handle that, even with its L2s. And the L2s kind of suck. And to be honest with you, ETH's L2s suck too. Just FYI. I don't know. I think this market's still too immature for something like ETH to overtake the scarce Bitcoin, if you will. right now.
So let's jump over into the pulse chain stuff.
Oh God, poopy charts.
Oh! We got to get a higher low, man. We got to get a higher low.
We do got to get a higher low.
I'm gonna yank up a Bitcoin chart myself.
I was looking at
see
that.
where we're at because I
think
not
we're at
losing faith in it yet, but
no, I think we're at a higher low right now. Actually, this is what I had plotted for it. So it was a descending triangle breakdown. That's what this was. Pretty clear. We are in this channel. I mean, I don't know. I guess you can get rid of the channel because there's no bottom. Well, I mean, I have 2 touch points here, but if you really look carefully, I'll just, you know what? I'll use my deck screener chart. It looks cleaner than that. Excuse me. All right, so maybe it's a wedge. Okay. But before this data came in, it was just a descending triangle that broke down. Very clear.
yeah, that is.
Fake
it looks like we
fake breakout, dump, oversold rally, boom, into resistance. This candle right here is a clear rejection reversal candle, which we got a reversal on the weekly. Now, if they want to try to pivot it here, that's really good. But I think what ends up happening, if we do pivot and we need to reclaim this support, and then we can maybe break out of here later on.
Yeah, if one of our biggest downfalls was the DeaDY minter using this as a piggy bank from day one, draining the chain on top of the other problems that every chain has. I don't think we would be as far down as we would, but since we are down this far, you think we're going to recover as hard and as fast? Everybody has a lot of faith in Pulse Chain right now, at least the Pulse Chain community, because we're all heavily vested in here. So we all want to hear good news.
I think it's still kind of relying on ETH rally to some degree, because this is basically ETH's little brother, right? So it's like the child chain of ETH right here.
So what about the thought of if ETH goes to zero, or let's just say Pulse Chain decides to get its ass out of the sand, its head out of the sand, couldn't Pulse Chain just completely rip and leave this behind? Just like Solana
well, I don't think 100% it can do that. And the reason
really,
I mean, it could outperform it when it's going up. Yeah, like outperform it big time when it's going up. I just think that there's a lot of technical things that Pulse Chain's built on are still kind of A, helping ETH, and B, relying on ETH at the same time. Because how do you bridge funds in? If ETH goes to zero, then nobody has any faith in ETH, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then why the hell are you going to use the bridge?
Well, if they opened up all the streams for us, I'm talking Pulse Chain people, don't you think that would give us a prime opportunity to continue onwards and upwards? And like Ethereum, it's really mind blowing that you can think of something like Ethereum Classic that had a major run up, and then they had a problem with somebody taking liquidity or whatever the story was. I'm pretty vague on that. But then Ethereum switched over.
Someone hacked the DAO. Someone hacked the DAO.
So then he basically rugged that chain and he created a fork of his own project. And that's where you had the proof of work that people used for years, right? From, we were trading at $200 a token and it went all the way up to $4,500 a token. But that token that used to be worth $4,500 is now worth like $5 a token. Isn't that crazy how you can think like you can just decommission a token that used to be
An entire
a
chain.
certain price and just move the liquidity?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and people still trade Ethereum Classic. People
Sure.
still trade this stuff that has no purpose. And the reason I bring that up is we're going to get on to DeaDY here in a little bit. But my pulse chain prediction on here was I was looking at the 1618 right over here from top to bottom. We got the 1618 and we hit that marker. So now we should be in a reversal pattern, which we broke out of. We got our retest off of that, and now we've hit the pivot point. And the way I like to run these is I like to run it. If I know this is going to be a clear reversal, I'm going to put my 0 here. I'm going to put my 0.25 here. I'm going to have my estimated run up here, which usually works well for me. So I'm going to say we could run all the way back down to this 004 before we actually run back up. But we got a little bit of if we pop right over here, we can blast right through this again.
Yeah.
But we still got to hit our head on this, right? This is going to be the next thing we hit our head on. So you can take your Fibonacci now, and you can scroll it over, and now you get a pivot point of this date right here, and you got a projected future date of pulse chain hitting it on August 6th. That seems a little late in the year. I mean, August 6th, I would expect we'd be above SAC. So maybe we run up a little quicker. Do you think it's going to? It can't. You're already past that marker. So, but that's your pivot point right there. It's got to hit its head on this.
I think July is when I really start this all run. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, we get them candles over here, and then we can hit this, bounce inside the golden pocket, and then blast out of it above there. So, but this is your range to be in.
Yeah.
I would say that sometimes, like when it starts to ride up here, because this is wave 1, wave 2. If this is wave 3, you usually stop at the 0.5. But if you come up here, yeah, you're not going to blast right through here because you got this big resistance line. So I think that's going to be pretty bad. PTGC's got a 6%. I want to take a look and see where we're at with that. What are your thoughts with PTGC? It's already had its major run to the upside and a major pullback. You think it's going to survive? You think it's going to continue getting all the attention on Pulse Chain? Or do you think it's going to be
I think lots of people made lots of money off that thing already, but
I do, and they have a lot of confidence. They got a lot of people in their community that they're a positive influence. So I think that if anything, your community that stands behind you will pick you up, like SolidX. SolidX is one of those communities that a whale owns, that he's fully supporting and buying up his own project and helping other projects. So he might be done helping other projects at this point and just working on himself to boost his own stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the way I'm seeing this right this very moment is it looks to me like a bear flag.
It is going to the upside.
So, yeah, but I mean, you got to kind of look at it. I mean, it could pop back into this structure, but
well, being that it's a bear flag, that might be. I don't know, because if you're looking at a bear flag, you'd be looking at a measured move, and you can't go below 0, and you're down 0 here. So I have a hard time thinking that this is an actual bear flag.
Well, I'm on log scale, so I don't know how you have it charted, but
oh yeah, I'm just on regular scale for some of my stuff.
Yeah.
But if this was traditional Fibonacci, and you were to put that wave 1, and you're coming down to wave 2, I'm going to put the 0.25.
The other way I'm looking at this is like this. It's like a really long channel on log scale. So
Oh, look at
That's
that.
that's kind of how I'm seeing. Even though we don't have touch points here, it comes close enough to be like, okay, that makes some sense. But yeah, you could see what I was kind of contemplating here with this being a bear flag. And yeah, you're outside of it right this very moment, but you're hugging this channel. So it could be a fake break. You did put in a nice bullish engulfing candle yesterday. And what could happen is you could end up just breaking back into the structure. You know, maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow. You just candle right through it, come back in, and you know, you just kind of trade in this channel until you really start to get some momentum being built. And yeah, maybe this brings you back up to those levels eventually. So something like that is possible. What's that weekly chart look like?
Yeah, I think the traditional markets are starting to. No, not traditional markets. The big cryptos are starting to drop. We got SUI dropping, XRP's dropping, Bitcoin's now dropping. So I think it's pretty confirmed that we're going to get a pretty nasty run to the downside.
Pullback?
And, uh,
Yeah. You know what gives you that? You know what tells you that, dude? You ever look at tether dominance chart?
I never look at the tether dominance chart. I should probably start pulling that up.
You definitely should, because this tells you everything you need to know. Like, look at the 2-day. It's actually bullish. And that sucks, because that means we could see a major drawdown. And this might come all the way back up to the top of its range.
So before we move on to pulse chain version of WBTC, I want to see what your idea is with the DXY and the correlation it has with Bitcoin now, because I'm a little concerned that they say that like the BRICS nations is going to like destroy the U.S. dollar, and you know, if we're now tethered to Bitcoin as far as the correlation is, if the DXY drops hard and continues to drop, that means that Bitcoin should technically drop, and it shouldn't. So if you're looking at Bitcoin and you expect Bitcoin to go to all-time highs and have this major run to the upside, and you compare it to 8 years ago, which is not the same, because 8 years ago when Trump took office, it was an opposite correlation. So now when you're looking at this DXY, we would have to be the US dollar would have to be gaining a lot of value in order for Bitcoin to go up if it's going to stay correlated. Unless it correlates again, I'm not sure what would cause that.
Yeah, so I've been mostly watching what the 10-year is doing, because the 10-year has kind of been dictating what these markets have been doing. So with the 10-year going sideways right now, but mostly in an uptrend, leads me to believe that markets are going to go higher, because when the 10-year rate goes up, this is all because China was selling treasuries, okay? And that really effed up
Right.
the market ratios wise. So if that continued sell pressure is still happening, then those ratios are going to continue to widen than what the norm was. And so that makes some sense to me, that if the 10-year is going to keep pushing up, that means they're probably going to keep the dollar down, because that makes the market have less risk to be in. And with gold ripping out, you know inflation is in the moon, but people flight to gold in uncertain markets. So with if the market's going to continue to be uncertain and inflation is going to be high, you're going to see gold continue to rally. And if you really are interested, you should look at the gold Bitcoin chart. Gold versus Bitcoin on the monthly time frame looks insane. Like, it almost is saying that if it breaks out on the monthly chart, you should just roll all your Bitcoin for gold.
Yeah, that might be the way to go. I mean, that's crazy.
It's what it's saying. It might take like 6 months to a year to play out, though. You know. So I was looking at that the other day. I was like, "Fuck, why am I even in crypto? I should just be in gold." Yeah.
So I wanted to reiterate this the pulse chain version of Bitcoin. I didn't take a look to see if anything is minting yet. I was keeping up with that, but I kind of switched.
They're not minting wrap Bitcoins.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, they figured out.
Bitco's not minting wrap Bitcoins.
Well, when we got two black eyes already, the first one was LUSD, and then they figured out how to mint DeaDy. What's next?
They would have already figured out how to mint that thing, dude. Bitcoin.
You think so?
Yeah.
Maybe I just don't trust it anymore.
I don't like that. I didn't like that weekly candle it printed. That's a weekly reversal candle on that against the dollar. I rolled out of a lot of my Bitcoin in the 300 level range when I saw that quick wick. That quick wick was because that dominance community, OG Web Chef community, market buying Bitcoin and distributing it to its yield people, and the yield people are just dumping it for yield.
It actually just broke, and now it's hitting a retest right now.
I know.
Pull up my chart real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll see what we're talking about.
I know the wedge break and the back test. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, this looks like that came down really nice, man. On the daily chart, on the 3-day chart, and now you're just you're printing a doji candle right now. So this would be your higher low, and then you also got another higher low right over here. So that's currently looking bullish.
Depends how this week closes, but yeah.
I'm thinking that I might want to pick up one or two of these just to have them on my.
I picked up like 30 of them in the 180s today. So
you picked what? 30 of them today?
Yeah.
Man, that's I don't know if I would want to put that much risk in anything pulse chain other than the cores right now. I like to start to move stuff back into safe places and not be so risky on stuff.
The safest place to be is gold. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about all these
crypto
tokens that are out here that people are starting off and shilling. So take a smaller portion of that portfolio and start changing it over. Look what happened to dominance. Look what happened to all these things that people were kind of getting into. They're just getting destroyed.
Yeah.
It's just a liquidity grab, you know?
Yep.
So
and if you notice that pump that it had, go correlate that to the wrap Bitcoin chart. That day that it pumped like that, wrap Bitcoin went to go make that wick up at $475.
Oh, good God.
Go look at the day. April 26th. Go look at the wrap Bitcoin chart now. Same day, right?
This is April 29th.
Okay.
This is April 27th, 28th, 29th. No, that was here.
So it was a couple days after it.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, but they hit their head on here, and I was in a room with somebody, and they were saying, I'm going to buy more, and I said, nope. You should probably take a look at it's only a third hit, man. It's not going to break through. It's going to break through in the fourth hit. So this is a cup and a handle. You got the cup, you got the handle. It's what I currently drew out here. Yeah. So, I mean, this is the area where you would start to run to the upside and finally break it, and then use it as support.
Yeah, you could rebuy it down here for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, but the people that were in this thing, they kind of got
wrecked,
pulled down pretty hard. Yeah. Speaking of wrecked, I had a community of people jump into my DeaDY BeaR token and they just yanked it all back out. So they made my chart look like crap, dude. I was doing so good. They just destroyed it.
Yeah.
So yeah, back down to $800 liquidity. So I'm gonna be pushing that back in. I got the game guy just loading the rest of the characters for my my fighting game. I need to start getting some demos out there.
Nice.
But WBTC looks like a good looks like a good buy right now. If you're looking at this on an Elliott wave structure, this is a wave A, B, C, D, E. So this is going to be your A, your B, your C. It's going to pop up here to your D, and then it's going to come down here to your E. So this is a safe spot for you to get up to this area right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely this this zone right over here that I'm looking at is almost $500. So from 200 to 500, that's a 1.5x. You can certainly get your hands on that. So good job on telling me about that, because I wouldn't have even looked at this Bitcoin at all. I would have not been paying attention to it.
Yeah. I know you're not a fan of DeaDy or any of the shenanigans at all of it, but I actually am making lots of Bitcoin on this ratio trade right now.
Let's see your DeaDy chart. I want to see what you got, because I'll pull mine up and get a better perspective on where's my. Let's go.
So I actually have this on regular time scale as a falling wedge pattern. Okay.
Okay.
And you
That's
broke it.
That's what DeaDy?
Yeah. And you broke you didn't break it, no volume on it break or anything, just sideways. But it looks like, if you look carefully, the volume is receded. And so you're just consolidating here. I think your first, major move is first it's into this level right here, the 1.6s. Okay. And if you do catch a bid, you get this move to the 1.6s, which is about 100% move. That wouldn't. I don't think that's going to be hard for it to do that, especially with how compressed it is down here. I mean, look at your RSI. It's very oversold. So yeah, I mean, this is, if you want to trade it, this is definitely not a bad place to accumulate it. That's really all I'm saying right now. I mean, like if you really start to see bids come in on this, then you can talk about the daily 200 moving average eventually up here at like close to a penny. Eventually, that might take some time.
So you're looking at the DeaDy and what chart? What are you pairing it to? WPLS?
Yeah, it's the PLS chart.
I'm looking at the DeaDy chart. I think that's the one that had the most liquidity.
I can look at that one too, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, they're both. This one has 1.9k in liquidity. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, it's the same type of pattern. It's the same wedge pattern. On log scale, I have the same thing drawn. If it completes the whole pattern, then you could be looking at 2 to 3 pennies eventually.
No, that would make Salmi happy.
That would probably make a lot of people happy. But yeah, this trend line right here is going to act as a major level of resistance whenever you tag that.
Yeah, it looks like it's in 2 different falling wedges right here, and this next one right over here looks like it does have the ability to pop out. When I look at here, I've got a 1, a 2, a 3, so there's no resistance left. So there's no reason why it couldn't just pop to the upside right here. But ultimately, it's in a bigger triangle. So this is still a bullish pattern until it breaks this level right here. So this is a level to really watch to see if it continues down to the downside. Right. But we would be looking at a run up to this area, and I got a marker on here of July 21st of it sitting at 003, not 03, but 003. And beyond that, I mean, this is like a slow move to the upside, unless something happens where it just completely starts to rocket and catch me off guard and then come all the way back up to these levels. That would be your 1 penny. But to get
Yep.
past that would be, I mean, you got 2 cents at the top of
It
the.
wouldn't. Once it gets to a penny, it's not going to be hard for it to break above that. There's not really a lot of resistance there.
Yeah,
But
you're
yeah.
gonna hit your head on this resistance right here. So
Yeah,
this
once
is a
you
good
once
future
you-
target.
Yeah, penny. Yeah.
So you could potentially come up here for a double top before it drops.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I mean, I don't know. Are people still going to be shilling money into this in 6 months from now when everything else is going up, pulse chain and everything?
It is. It
Or
is.
is this gonna be-
It is a pretty big narrative on this chain.
Well, it used to be. Now it's not. It's kind of like a sore, like a black eye. So a lot of people have mixed feelings about it. I don't know a lot of people that are actually going to touch this.
I got a bag,
personally want to.
but I only got a bag because of this ratio is telling me to have a bag.
Yeah, if you're doing some degen trading, by all means, I still hold Luna, and I'm up on Luna, big time. So Terra Luna was a really really good buy for me. So I'm hoping maybe in the future it'll go back up to $30. I'm hoping, but it's unlikely that it's going to recover. However, if Bitcoin rises and everything else rises, I'm still holding my tokens. I can actually go up 2 or 3x. So I just don't plan on touching it. You know, that was a degen bag for me, long term, and that could be the same here. So we'll find out in the future what happens. So PDI is interesting because of the eyesore that it had, but now that the minting has been shut off and verified it's been shut off, I find it weird that the tokens are actually dropping in the contract. I don't know how they're going down.
They're burning them. They're burning them.
They're what?
They're burning them.
Who's burning them? How are they burning? The contract is burning, or people
Yes.
are calling functions in the contract to burn them?
Well, you know, there is another version of Maker that they just popped out, right?
Okay. So you think the contract is doing its own? If you call the fire action, doesn't that like freeze the whole project? That's what I thought it was doing.
Well, I mean, they did do the EMS shutdown, but we don't know if they're upgrading it.
Yeah, that's what makes things still sketchy for me, is that things are still happening on this. There shouldn't be any action right here. These numbers should not change at all.
I don't think they have.
They have.
How much? And when?
It went up 19 billion, and then since then, I have logged. Let me go to my Telegram because I have it on my Telegram. So the last pull I did was on the April 16th, and that was afterwards, and it was at 44379,588.
It's gone down a couple million.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's been going down slightly. I'll take another snapshot of this and then follow this in a week from now and find out if it's still physically burning. If it is, I want to know why, how.
Well, if it's burning, then you know that there's something going on, and that's actually a net positive for it.
Well, a net positive, but again, if you can burn, I don't know if this thing is so complex as far as all the different layers of things that it can physically do. Even though they say that the fire thing was called, this just feels like a mirror image of what happened with LUSD. And if this were me, if I did have the ability to mint more, and I knew I did, I would simply be waiting for the market to go up before I start yanking out that liquidity again. So that's why I don't know why this shouldn't be moving. So in the future, I'll bring this back up and look at it again. But it's going down a little bit at a time. So it looks like something's killing it. And if you throw the tokens in the burn wallet, this number doesn't change. So it has to be doing a contract burn.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I found out.
Yeah.
But degenning on that one is definitely good for short term. Just whatever risk you put into it, just kind of expect. God damn! Look at this XRP.
Dump
Still
it.
drop. I done got out at 222, and I stayed out, and I'm still out.
Stay out until Tether gets rejected.
Sui, I had an expectation of it to drop back down to this this level right over here, which was this is your buy zone right over here. But I expected it to bounce right here and then go up. But you can see like it's got a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to the 5 to the downside. So this is a clear completed wave to the upside.
Mm-hmm.
So it has the potential of coming all the way back down here. So if it breaks this trend line, it's going to trade sideways and over for a little bit. But it's got to stay above here if it's going to stay bullish. So right now, this is my target zone to drop, but it has the ability to come down to here. So, and Sui's an interesting chain because everybody's really excited about Pulse Chain and how fast it is and how cheap it is. But
Sui's really fast.
have you ever used Sui?
Yeah, I have.
At least once?
Mhm.
Holy cow, that thing is fast. It is phenomenally fast. If I'm going to build a game, it's and a blockchain game, it's going to be on Sui because that thing is just lightning, man.
Yeah. Yeah, Sui's a great chain, man. It's going to do really good things.
Yeah, there's a lot of cabal over there. There's a lot of stuff that's happening with groups of people, and it's almost as bad as Pulse Chain, except for they're more NFTs, and they don't have all the tech stuff that we do over here. I have to say that out of all the chains I've looked at, Pulse Chain has a lot of really, really good projects and tech stuff on here that was built from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I really like about here is because you got a lot of knowledgeable people. Now, when I'm over on Sui and I ask somebody about creating a contract, nobody has any freaking clue. I had to teach myself how to make a contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you got? What you looking at?
Bitcoin. 12-hour. About to flip.
It's going to drop, man.
Yeah, it is going to drop. 90K looks about right now.
Macro look bad? 15-minute?
No. 15-minute. Looks like it's sitting on support. But you had this up thrust earlier today to 95. Got rejected.
Why am I yawning? It's too
No,
early to be yawning, man.
I'm tired too, man. I'm probably going to go to bed soon. I got to be up at like
It's
5.
10:30.
I got to be up at like
Crazy. I'm just getting too old.
5. I mean, the 4-hour actually doesn't look half bad. Looks like we're almost getting a buy signal on the 4-hour. Can get negated pretty quickly.
Man, look at all them indicators. I used to be just like that. I used to have a dozen indicators running on this stuff, and then it was just overwhelming. It was called analysis paralysis, and I had to just drop it down to keep it simple because I was trying to teach people how to understand support and resistance. Like the easiest thing you should know, the core fundamental of trading should start with support and resistance. You should at least know how to read trend lines, in my opinion. And then
trend lines are only good if they're actually respected. If they're broken, then
yeah.
they're no
Well,
good.
they're all lagging indicators too, so you can get a better like a first mover advantage if you can find them trend lines. But I see you have some squeezing tools and all kinds of stuff in here. Maybe we should start collaborating, and you should start breaking down some of them.
Yeah, the squeeze tool is pretty fun. I'd say fun. It's actually really helpful. And then this liquidation level indicator is pretty good too. You know, when you start flashing these reds, these are usually buy zones on whatever time scale you're on, and these greens are usually sell zones or short zones. Even though this is like flashing green all the way up, of course, because you broke out. So like, yeah, you want to be selling into this pump, right?
Yeah, that looks like my fear and greed.
And yeah, you started to show these greens up here, which means people might be starting to build short positions here, which makes a lot of sense. And you have a big gap here on your volume. So like they break this back down. I think 92K, 89 to 92K region is like a big level for Bitcoin. If we start making closures below 92K, there's a really good chance that this thing just goes like a magnet back to like 83. And then maybe you make like a cup and handle and we can go higher or something. You know. Yeah, we'll see. It really just depends on the strength of the tether dominance. So, you know, my 3-day chart's still short, but like your 3-day is oversold on your stochastic, and it looks like it's starting to tick back up. Like this is where you would want to be building short positions, right? Just like here, you would want to be building long positions. This is the bearish divergence, and here you catch this major move up, and now you take profit, and maybe you wait for some short positions to materialize. And if this starts giving you a 3-day buy signal for tether, you either stable up or you start you just full on enter short positions, because that's going to go up. And if that goes up, crypto goes down. Your short positions make money, or you just sit in stablecoin and just wait for that to reset to go back into longs.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Solo layout. Yep. I think after we get this final pull down, then we can finally start to run to the upside. I've been waiting too long, man. I missed the last pump, and I was kind of sitting in the wrong assets at that time. I was jumping in stuff like crypto.com and all the shit that happened with them. So now this time, I think I've positioned myself in a really good place. I'm really hoping Pulse Chain really performs better than some of the other assets that are out there. I had my claws in Solana for quite a while, and I don't really like Solana. I had a lot of bad experiences on there with the last 4 years ago with all the NFTs, and every single project I was in rugged. They were good projects too, but everything that I was a part of was just a rug. There was none of those projects exist today. Some of them.
Well, you could have just bought Solana itself and benefit from all the meme coin shenanigans.
Yeah, but I was on Solana because of the fun. Solana by itself is not fun. There was projects and there was people and there was Solana by itself is just boring.
Yeah.
I wasn't there to make money. I was there to have fun and do the game stuff, and hopefully some of these games would continue to grow and build. And some of them,
I feel like the gaming sector has really been hit really hard in the blockchain space right now.
Yeah, and all those projects that I had, Solana was able to burn their main projects. So even if you buy the NFTs, they're no longer available anymore. The images are not even available anymore. You can go to the project, and the project has been taken off the whole platform. So I got thousands of dollars that are in these projects that I had invested into, and not only were they rugged, but I don't even have the image to show for it anymore.
Yeah.
Pretty bad, man. I see Bored Ape Yacht Club started to do 3D characters and stuff like I'm doing with my DeaDY BeaR,
Mhm.
but they didn't get any attention yet. So I wonder if they're kind of ramping up and trying to get the first mover advantage. Maybe they stole the idea from me. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that as credit. Maybe they stole the idea from me.
Yeah,
I've
so
been,
tether is in a 4-hour squeeze right now. You see, bullish cross. So you want to be in shorts right now for sure. You already started breaking this range. He's back tested it, and now Yeah, okay, you're printing these green dots, but this is a 4-hour time frame, so this is like a crazy amount of bullish divergence on the 4-hour. Look at the MACD. We're going to get a big pump on Tether, and Bitcoin's just going to go flying right down. Boom. Dump it.
like a Bart Simpson pattern.
Probably.
Yeah, I can see a big red candle coming down, and then more liquidations happening before they push it out. So we got nothing to really push it up. We're not getting. You said retail's not pushing it anyway. It's going to be.
Yeah, this is all institutional buying. OTC stuff, for sure.
If you have a mining rig that's not profitable right now, and then the price of Bitcoin doubles, you think it'll be profitable then before the next halving? I guess I'd have to see what the ratio is.
I think running a Bitcoin miner right now is probably not profitable.
Well, you can right now might be a good time to pick up some mining rigs that are like at par, ones that people are getting out of because they're getting in other ones.
Mhm.
Like they cost next to nothing to get your hands on,
Mhm.
and we're expecting the Bitcoin price to go up. So for the next probably year and a half, you might be good on running a miner.
Yeah, but I mean, you might not even get any blocks, dude. That's the thing.
You what?
You might not even get any blocks on your Bitcoin miner. You got to win a block to get rewarded.
That's an interesting concept. So uh, I missed that drop on Sui in the 15-minute. I would have so taken that.
Short trade? You short trade? You mean?
Yeah, yeah, that was a nice drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I want to go back into doing some mini scalping. Maybe I want to do some scalping live on just for fun, and maybe a Discord or Telegram. I was used to do it really, really hard at in Discord, but it slowly died off after the GameStop and all that stuff happened. And it looks like it would be fun to get a bunch of TA guys together just to have some fun doing some 50x leverage longs and shorts
Not
on
50x for me. I think my max limit for
amounts.
leverage is like 5x.
We're talking 5 minutes in and out, man. Minuteman chart. That's what I'm excited about. Minuteman chart. I don't even know if I can go 50x here in the US.
That's some degen shit. Yeah.
Minuteman.
Hyperliquid's pretty good.
What, hyper?
Liquid? Yeah.
That'd be fun. So, do you know anything about Deep? Now that you know about Sui, do you know about Deep?
Sandeep?
Deep is the liquidity holder provider or something.
Oh, Deep Book token. Do you talk about Deep Book token?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at the
Chart.
the Deep. It's on Deck Screener. You got to go to Deep Sui, and then flip the put it on the Sui chart. Put it on the Deep Sui, and then flip it from USD to Sui.
The ratio chart.
Yeah. See. Because I think that was. I think it's more positive to keep Sui right now. I think it's flipping.
Yeah, I don't like that candle.
I just dumped all of my deep. I was riding it up in a platform that was getting 30% APY, and moved it over into stables, and then I just bought it back up before this pop up, and now it's just above my entry. So I'm all in Sui right now, and I'm not in any deep. But deep is very violent, man. When this thing runs, it runs. So I do have conviction. I just want to wait for the ratio chart to flip it and start going the other way again. Lower time frames. Good God, that thing is huge.
Yeah. I don't like these long wicks like this. These are rejection candles. This might come down a bit. Looks like it's could come down to this kind of trend line here that's been respecting. Maybe a 30% drop on it. Looks about right. Yeah.
I'll show you what I got on mine.
Go ahead.
So the ratio trade on here shows the 1, 2, 3, 4 time is a break, a retest, and now it's currently pushing to the downside. I'm not sure how far it's actually going to go down, but I pulled my deep for the time being, wait for this ratio to currently go down. I think Sui might get a really nice pop to the upside, or deep might get a really big drop to the downside. So I'm flipping back and forth to see.
I think they both dropped. I think they both dropped to the downside. It's just about a matter of which one drops less.
Yeah. So that in theory, with the way the chart is looking, it looks like deep should drop more than Sui then.
Right. It's a lower market cap, right? In Sui.
Is it a lower market cap? I don't know. It's got 6.3 million liquidity and 457 million market cap. 457 million market cap on deep.
I would assume Sui is larger than that. Than 457 million. Sui.
You can do USDC. They moved over USDC to Sui. So that would put you Bluefin.
I don't trust any of that.
Sui USDC. Cetus. Yeah,
that's a DEX. But yeah, I think Sui is in the billions, isn't it?
I can't tell from here. I have to go to a coin market cap.
It's $11 billion market cap.
Okay.
So yeah.
So it is significantly.
Yeah. So deep token would take the brunt of the hit. So that bring your ratio down more against Sui. In the event we get downside, which looks like we're going to get downside.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, there's a couple other things I wanted to bring up while I was on stream. Do you know what emit is? Since we're in Pulse Chain, we're talking about emit. You're familiar with Ink token, right? Incentive token?
Yes.
So incentive token has you put farms, and then it mints tokens and gives them to you for minting, for holding liquidity. So if you had two tokens, you had the core token WPLS paired up with your token. In this case, I'm going to use DeaDY BeaR, or PulseX, or Ink, whatever you got, and you put them into the farm if the farm is available, and then you can earn Ink tokens, and then that's going to be your rewards. It's going to be called emissions. I'm doing air quotes right now, but you can't see it because I've got my character on. But emit token is the same thing, except for Kairos, who's been around for a long time, has made the emissions. So I currently have 500 emissions staked in here, and in a week's time, I made $16, and you get them back in USD and EDI. You get it back in EDI. And then I also got 6 emission tokens, which you can just compound. But it's really, really cool platform. We're trying to get the word out and get more people in here. I was fortunate enough to get on here myself. I'm only paired up with the emit token. So I have DeaDY BeaR in there now with a couple $100 of liquidity. Once I start my games, I'm gonna start to build that up. But these are positive things for the chain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Cool, man.
So emit token and yeah, that's all I need to pull up on here. The rest of it is all just all my new stuff. Thanks to Next, he's come in and he's dropping some new images, and I'm turning them into 3D movable characters and pushing those. So I was looking at Garbage Pail Kids. You remember those back in the day?
Mm.
Atom Bomb. That's what reminds me of. Anyway, that's all I got for TA for tonight. My Bitcoin does look like it's going to drop until we start getting them candles and we get down to this red zone. I think maybe by next week I'll be jumping on stream again and try to figure out where the next bottom's going to be before we end up running up.
All right.
You got anything else you want to pop up? You look pretty sleepy.
Nah, I'm good, dude. I'm gonna go to bed soon.
All right, man. Well, thank you everybody for joining. I appreciate the got 21 people that came in and joined. It's pretty funny. I got a friend that does tarot reading, and I jump into his lives every once in a while just to give him a hard time. And he's got a bunch of women, old women that are all over him now. It's pretty funny.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Hey, man, they all need loving too.
Yeah, I appreciate you jumping on, man.
Of course. Chat to you soon.
Take it easy.
Have a good night.